So I got an iPad 2nd generation here that has a broken screen. I'm gonna replace it with a new one. Well, I guess I already have. I took the old glass off already and just plopped this down with tape to see if it would work. But it's a relatively simple process. All you have to do is take a hairdryer, any hairdryer would really work. And all you have to do is just heat up around the edges and lift it up. And there you go, there's the inside. And this is just the LCD. On these old iPads, this one was made in 2011, the touchscreens were not laminated to the displays like the newer models, a trend that Apple is keeping around, at least in their budget models. The non-laminated display means that repair costs are super low because you only have to replace the glass instead of replacing the entire screen. And especially on a big screen like this, it'll cost a fortune to fix the LCD and the digitizer at the same time. Especially with the Retina ones, they can get really, really, really expensive and you don't really want to spend all that money. Replacing the display glass, or really opening them up in general, it can be tricky though, because especially if the screen's cracked, because then you'll have to like get underneath all the cracked glass and glass would go everywhere. Can even damage some components with the sharp glass, like maybe scratch this. Luckily I didn't. Just all dirt on there, but yeah, you don't want to do that. You don't want to deal with that crap because you have to spend more money or on other parts. It can be a real hassle to get everything working again. And that's why I taped it down, because the power button assembly is broken now because a shard of glass went in and cut the part of the cable. As you can see there's a tiny little cut there. And if you accidentally cut it, these buttons won't work. But once you get the glass out, you just fold it to one side like this. I would get like a water bottle or something to prop it up against so it doesn't fall over. Actually, it probably doesn't even matter. But then you get your screwdriver and your PH 000 screw and unscrew all of these screws. And then just pry it up using your spudger. And there you go. There's all the insides. And here you can replace the ribbon cable. You just have to like get it out of here. And the battery's easy enough to replace. Although it is glued down, which does make it a bit harder. But yeah, these iPads are very cleanly laid out. The only problem is just that everything's glued in. Even this cable is glued in. And also, while you're taking out the display, be careful of this antenna, because if you rip it, spend a lot of time getting all this ready again. Once you get it open like this, all you have to do is just flip these switches over here. This one can be very annoying to get to. Anyway, once you get these off, you just disconnect this ribbon cable and take the panel off. And once you do that, get your new panel. Remember to lock these down. And you plug it in, and plug it in all the way so that the dashed lines are just, you can just see them. You want to make sure that these dashed lines right here, you could just see them. You don't want them to be too far out, or else the connection won't be good and your digitizer won't work. Now all you have to do is fold this down, put it like that, maybe wipe it off or something, but I'm not going to do that now. And install the screws back in. There you go. While you're prepping your screen, make sure that this home button the home button bracket is lined up correctly. If it's not lined up, your home button can actually fall out of the screen, so you don't want that. Then you have to open it up again. You'll have to reuse all your old adhesive, which won't make the screen go on correctly. You don't want to deal with that. Just want this to be, you just want this to be flush and correct. On some crappy aftermarket displays like this one, you can push it down. And this is a crappy aftermarket display, but it doesn't really matter because they're cheap enough. They're like I bought this one for $17. No, it's not much. But another thing, this crappy aftermarket adhesive is not the best, so you might want to get some industrial strength adhesive or something to put it on there. And once you're done, just fold it up. Make sure to push the ribbon cable into its correct spot. And for now, I'll just tape it back together. I'm gonna open this again, using another video of it. Now, I got this fairly new 2015 iPad Pro 12.9 inch. And as you can see, it has a cracked screen. The rest of the iPad's in pretty good shape. Turns on and everything. The back has barely any scratches. And the cameras work too. You might think this is an easy fix, but realize that first, you have to heat up the edges of the screen with a hairdryer or something, which are thinner and longer than older models, like that iPad 2. And the screens are laminated. You may say, well, what's so bad about a laminated screen? The device is going to be thinner, and it makes the touch more accurate. Well, laminated screens have one major drawback, and that is that they cost a small fortune to fix. On iFixit.com, a new screen costs over $200, and if you don't do it yourself, it could cost way more because of all the labor that you have to pay for. Now, the big question is, why do they have laminated screens? Well, short answer is that they can make devices thinner that way because there's no air gap between the two screens. And the viewing angles aren't as distorted as on a non-laminated display. But they cost so much to fix when they break. Needless to say, stay away from cracked laminated iPads. But if you have one with a good display, baby it. Like I do with my 2017 iPad Pro. Put a case on it. If you have one with the cracked display, get a screen protector like this one, and just use it that way until it's unsupported. There's no